like bucket list roles. Oh, there's like a million of them. I mean, it's a problem for me, is I just want to sing everything. Golo in Peleas. I would love to sing that. It's such a fantastic character. I would really like to sing Falstaff, although I fear that I'm not quite fat enough. The Contessa in Nozze di Figaro. Honestly, it's, for me, she's just one of the most noble women who's ever been written, and I love the strength that she has. You know, she's a woman who has put up with so much in that opera. It's so much from her husband that I feel so enormously for her. I would love it, and I love all of her music. I love every minute of it, everything that she sings. I'm singing Bartolo with Opera York on the 27th of February and the 1st of March, which is only a few weeks away right now, and I've now been working on the role for just slightly over a week, which is when I found out that I'm doing it, which is a very exciting opportunity, although, to be honest, a little intimidating, because it's a pretty big role. The ability to learn music quickly, that for me has always been a pretty easy thing, and you know, real asset right now. My teacher in university, he was a conductor and he was a fantastic musician, and one of the things that he really instilled in me was that if you show up unprepared, they'll find someone who's more prepared. Every time you get a new form of opera, everyone says, this was the last great opera. I mean, which I'm sure happened 100 times. It probably happened with Monteverdi's Orfeo, it probably happened with Don Giovanni, it probably happened with Barbara of Seville, and it probably happened with Tannhäuser too. For me, these are very much alive and thriving things. You know, the De Ponte operas, specifically Nozze di Figaro of Mozart, was so socially relevant at the time. It's about power struggles, which are very much still alive today, between men and women, between the rich and the poor, between the upper class and the lower class. I mean, if you ignore those things and say, this is about a count trying to sleep with his wife, the Contessa's servant, and that's all it's about, you're missing the point. Toronto is such a great city for having so many small companies that are willing to really push the boundaries of what opera's been. We've got companies that are willing to do works that are somewhat neglected, and companies that are willing to commission lots of new works and, you know, promote Canadian content and new opera. And I think that's a really important job of all of these small companies, because these things need to happen to keep the art form growing. We've got companies that are willing to change the language things are written in to make them more accessible. Modernized versions of La Boheme, Nozze di Figaro, recently staged a production of The Messiah. Messiah is always a show that is always going to sell, no matter what you do to it. It just depends who you're going to sell it to. But when you put something on its feet, like it was done, when you put it on the stage, that's something I would actually go see. I mean, realistically, am I going to go and watch a performance of The Messiah? Probably not. And then you get into other projects like this Hadrian, where I think the thing that's going to sell it is, again, not the singers, but the person who's writing it, Rufus Wainwright. And I think that's a really great way of getting some new people in the seats. Getting people to say, you know, let's give this a shot. Maybe it isn't dead. Maybe this isn't a 19th century thing. Maybe I don't need to wear my wig with powder. We can't just look back at, you know, 19th century opera, or even just a 20th century opera, you know? It's very much an evolving world, and composers need to keep writing it, because I want to keep singing new operas. You know, I want to be part of that creation process, because it's so fantastic.